We got to get to the showdown. This is a lot of agreeing that's been going on here, and then I see some juicy matchups in the showdown. Now, you've already shown a little bit of your hand going in because you told us how much you hate the Falcons, and and the first guy that has drawn your ire and that you're going to disagree with the Wolf on is Matt Ryan, and you don't like him much, do you?
All right, so here's the deal. First, I'm going to lead off with this. I'm going to ask you, where do you have him at, Wolf? What is he? What number quarterback is he for you?
Oh, so I know you have him at 13, and I have him all the way up at quarterback 4. So I love me some Matty Ice. I owned him last year, so maybe I have a little bias after what a great year he had. But I'm very high on Matt Ryan, and I'd love to hear why I shouldn't be.
Oh, man, I think Matty's got the blinders on you, man. This is a guy who's thrown for 30 touchdowns in his entire career twice. Once was 2012, once was last year. And so that's why I was talking about the trust, the recency bias. Like, I don't dislike Matt Ryan as a possible QB1. I have him at 13 because I think that I really believe that he's going to regress a lot. He's going to regress a lot because of Shanahan being gone. And I know that they've talked a lot about the same offense and things are not going to change. And he's got the same weapons coming back. And from an efficiency standpoint, that offense was historic last year. I mean, they went to a Super Bowl. They were lighting it up at just a crazy rate. So even if that efficiency comes down at all, yes, he's going to put up the yards because he's always put up the yards. I mean, the guy has thrown for 4,000 yards in each of the last, I believe, like 6 or 7 seasons. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But he's only thrown for 30 touchdowns, and that's what pushed him over into that high-end elite part. Like, he got 38 touchdowns last season. That's almost 40. And the guy's never sniffed close to that. So I think, like, he regresses back to the mean a little bit, and he goes back in that high 20s. I mean, even if he gets 30 on the dot, he's not going to pay off at the ADP that people are going to take him at. Most places have him as a top 5, top 6 quarterback. You have him at 4. I just think, like, there are so many guys that have so much more upside, and the quarterback position is just so wrought with value that I'm not willing to reach for Matt Ryan, much less pay the price that a top 5 quarterback is going to cost you for that.
Yeah, so I do agree with you in a certain sense in terms of I'm probably not going to draft Matt Ryan because I'm with you. I don't ever reach on quarterbacks. I always wait on it. I think there's always juicy options still there in rounds 11, 10, I always wait on quarterbacks. So I'm with you there. I'm not going to probably own Matt Ryan. So I know I'm going to bat for a guy right now that ultimately isn't going to be on my team. What I'm arguing here is that he should not be down at QB 13 below Eli Manning, below Matt Stafford, below some of the guys you have him, because I think he's getting punished right now by a lot of people. Everyone keeps saying regression. Yeah, you know what? He probably won't have 38 TDs again. In fact, I'm with you there. He won't. But at the end of the day, I don't think we need to punish a guy for his past when he didn't have the weapons he had last year, when he didn't have especially the fact of the offensive line with Alex Mack, and they really sturdied that up, and he had by far the most time of his career last year to really drop back and exploit these awesome new weapons of Taylor Gabriel, of Mohamed Sanu. And yes, I agree, Kyle Shanahan was a huge loss. I think that's going to definitely play a fact in him and going backwards from 38 TDs. I still see him throwing 30 to 35, another 4,500 yards. I just see a guy that everything's in place that was there last year other than the coordinator, but Steve Sarkisian's already said, I'm going to keep it aggressive, even more so in terms of targeting Julio in the red zone. And then all those weapons are there. I feel like instead of looking back into all these years where he didn't have the cast he has now, when he's playing behind a much worse offensive line and was getting sacked all the time, I think we got to look and see he's got the same awesome line that kept him upright last year. He's got the same weapons that he was able to exploit for the deep ball. He's a smart decision maker, only threw 7 interceptions last year. So I see a guy with a very high floor in a situation with everything in place to keep that floor and a pretty high ceiling. And then compared to some of the guys you have him below, where the floor is just a lot lower, maybe the ceiling could be somewhat higher. I don't know. I don't see many. This is the reigning MVP and one of the best QBs of all last year. I don't think he has a very low ceiling, and I think his floor is a lot higher than some of the guys you have below him. So
Derek,
I'm a big Matty Ice fan.
Derek,
sure.
you got 1 minute. Tell me why Matt Stafford should be higher than Matt Ryan.
All right. Matt Stafford, up until he injured his thumb last year, was the number 9 quarterback, just on the point. Matt Ryan last year, to point to his efficiency, he has been above 600 pass attempts for each of the last 5 seasons. Last year, he dropped below that. He lost 80 pass attempts. So if the defense improves for the Falcons and they go more run heavy and decrease in the pass even more than they did last year, then Matt Ryan drops off below Stafford because Stafford's not going to lose the volume.
All right, but you did that in 30 seconds. That was solid.